It's late. That's late. Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, good night, good lunch, good breakfast, I don't know, what are you eating? Who are you eating? Why you're eating them? My name is Antisocial. This is the Antisocial Horror-ish show, and we're here for the Portland Horror Film Festival here in beautiful, sunny Portland, Oregon. Yay! And today we're going to be chatting with somebody who's presented a shorter film. However, she's got a big pile of work that we can talk about. Miss, I'm going to say your full name, Miss Virginia Powers Hendry. Or should I just
Hello.
say Gina?
You can call
Or
me Gina. We're
yeah,
friends. We're besties now, so you
yeah.
can call me Gina.
Right all would be a fails. Okay, so totally want to talk about first before we even talk about Gaslighter. We got to talk about Deadhead because that is about me. So, you have somebody in that film that I worked with on a show called A Living Color back 100 years
Whoa.
ago.
Love it. Love it.
So tell me a little bit about Deadhead.
So Deadhead came about because I am an aging woman, and there were some discussions about the usefulness of women of a certain age, which is really very gross and
So
irritating.
that's when yeah.
So I wanted to make a film about women aging, and and also we were having this pandemic. I don't know if you heard. So I thought about writing a story about a virus of sorts. It's a plant horror film. It's a woman who is in her garden and she pricks her finger on a weird alien looking plant and it transforms her into a mantis revenge seeking creature. It's a creature feature, is what it is.
Yeah, I've heard of
And,
those.
and I wanted it to be a sort of a mantis looking hybrid because I wanted it to be like a female monster. And she exacts revenge on the men who dismissed her because they don't think that she
There is not enough film
serves their
in this
purpose.
world to do that for most women. So,
It's a fun one. Yeah, it was a fun one to make. Yeah, Takia, for those of you who don't know, Takia was one of the cast members of In Living Color, and you're right, and she was amazing then, and she's amazing now.
hilarious.
She's done so many other things. She was the mom, I think, on That's So Raven, and she was in Jackie Brown, and
Yeah,
she's an amazing actor. And I didn't know her before the film. I just was like, oh, the lady balls. I just found her information on IMDb Pro and said, hey, I love your work and I would love to work with you on this project. And she doesn't really love violence. There needed to be some sort of justification, so we actually had a huge conversation about the justification of the violence
mhm.
and how it was specific to what was happening for the character. And then she wanted to be the creature. She was excited about putting on the suit and the makeup and the whole thing. And she's just a lovely human. We're still in touch.
That's cool. I
She's
just love the fact that you hunted her down on IMDb. It gives me hope that I can look up like Jason Isaacs.
You can. You can.
I can look him up, but that's all I can do.
Turns out if you pay actors, they will work for
I
you, you
figure
know.
it. People do this for money now? Huh.
Sometimes.
I know, right? Amazing. I'm in voice acting, and the union just finally signed a big thing after striking
I'm
forever. So totally get it. Getting paid for your work is a nice thing. I don't want to be an AI for the rest of my life.
right. And I'm not, I'm not a student anymore. And I know that, the economy is tough for people, but I just have this feeling that we're adults and you need to pay people. I mean,
Yeah,
we're all trying to be artists and make a living too. And so if you can swing that, be an adult, make a grown-up movie and about monsters
yeah,
and pay your crew and your cast.
exactly. And people who, don't get that paying crew is a really big deal too.
Yes.
I would listen to people say, "Hey, you can do some animation for me for this one." I'm like, "Yeah, okay, I'm union." Oh.
Right. Yeah, it's like people don't quite understand like your labor of love is not their labor of
Yeah,
love.
exactly. Like, thanks so much, but
Yeah.
gotta
Yeah.
do that whole mortgage thing. You are a
Right.
mom.
I am a mom.
Ugh,
Yes.
you're so much braver than I am. That.
I have two girls, 7 and 9, going on 30. And they're back in LA with their dad while I'm here working. I want to model that it's important to pursue your dreams, especially for our young girls, especially the really, really hard things,
Yeah,
and also treat every level of success, like a joy and celebrate something to be celebrated. And so I really am, instead of complaining about, oh, I'm not, making these movies or those movies, it's like, just enjoy that you're making movies, enjoy that people are watching your movies, and that you're pursuing something that you love and you have that opportunity. And I try really hard as a mom to like model that for them.
do they
So
have like the TikTok bug or the movie making bug, or are they more into the?
they are in drama.
Oh,
They just had end of the year performance of Shrek. The oldest was the Big Bad Wolf, and the youngest was little pig number two of three. And so,
other words, not typecasting. That's just the way it works.
well, and I don't know that they're going to be, actors.
Uh-huh.
I just want them to be unafraid to stand in front of people and use their voice, That's really, for me, that's what I was important because I've grown up as sort of a shy person, very much a people pleaser, and I just didn't want them to be like that.
That
So
is so hard to first of all accepting yourself to understand that that's who you are as a person, because I absolutely fell down the good girl path where it's like, gotta do this right because I'm the oldest daughter and this is what you do.
I know I'm rebelling now.
Oh yeah, I love it. The hair. When I got married, it's the umpteenth time. My hair was fuchsia. I totally love it. So this
Never
is
too
good.
late to
No,
rebel.
I'm 61 and I'm, rebelling as I'm just starting now. I'm gonna, I got my drums over here and my dogs over here.
Amazing, amazing.
Um, what type of films did you watch growing up?
I really loved horror.
Creepy
My
double feature for sure.
I I I really love I'm older too. I'm 51. I just turned 51, and
Shut up.
and
Oh, really?
yeah. Well,
I
I
would have
think.
thought like 34, 35,
Oh
maybe.
my God, we did just become best friends. I like
No,
to say that
seriously.
I like to say that I bathe in the blood of incels, and so that's what's helping. It's really good skincare. So the toxicity in the blood, something about that is like really good exfoliant. I don't know, but anyway, so yeah, I grew up as a child of the '80s, and so what was on the menu was slashers, and
Okay.
I would just kind of sneak them. And I was like at summer parties and stuff, we would watch all these horrible things, which were wonderful. And I remember watching Nightmare on Elm Street specifically and being like, that is so scary. I want that. I want that.
And it was scary
Um,
with humor. It was
right. Well, first
the
one wasn't as funny
yeah.
as the others, but truly, and also that movie and also like Halloween where the final girls were so incredibly smart and strong and they didn't need a guy to save them, and I felt like horror had the space for that.
Yeah.
And not that was different from other genres like action and stuff. There was like
It's
I
always the
didn't.
guy that's getting the big thing,
Yeah,
heroic act, and it's saving somebody who's like, oh. But then you see like, Jamie Lee Curtis with Arnold
right,
Schwarzenegger, and it's like, she
right.
can do this shit. Yeah.
Right. And there's a maybe a debate about how they took that away at the end of specifically Nightmare on Elm Street, but I really loved that about certain slashers. And I also just sort of loved like the Tom Savini of it, the over the top gore. Like there's so much artistry in that.
He's so fun.
Um
Yeah.
I really, really loved just viscera and splatter, and I thought it was very fun. And I like those kinds of movies where it's like entertaining and fun and not so like dreadful and serious. There's
So
space
like,
for that, but that's
yeah,
what I
pastel, dreadful, serious, Evil Dead, fun.
fun, so fun. My mom, who is, the wife of a preacher and a school administrator for many years, I don't think she ever really understood my taste, but recently, she has been curious about it. And I sat her down and I said, because there's a whole misconception, and it's not just her, it's a lot of people where people who like horror are sick and twisted, and they're not. They're the
We don't
most
get it. We don't
sympathetic.
all worship Satan, although
Yeah, I
maybe.
mean, whatever, it's your
Yeah.
business. But I want to emphasize that the people who love horror are the most empathetic and kind souls that you'll ever meet. And so I wanted her to understand why I really loved it, and I showed her Evil Dead 2.
Oh, perfect.
I said, you're not going to like this, but I want you to see like the artistry of it and the like cartoonishness and the zaniness and the entertainment of it.
You can't go
And
wrong with Bruce Campbell. You
you
just,
cannot. Now, she made it about 45 minutes in and was like, okay, I can't watch this anymore. I'm like so stressed out. But
that's
it's
pretty good
so
though.
yeah, she's like, but I understand. And now whenever we visit, because we live very far away, but whenever we visit, she at night when we put the kids to bed and everything, she wants to watch a horror film. She wants me to pick a horror film for her to watch,
So
which
cool.
is so fun.
That's so cool. That's a good
Mhm.
bonding experience. I
It
always tell
is.
people their first horror movie should be Willy Wonka, the original with Gene Wilder.
Or any Disney movie, it's like they're all
The
gateways.
first 5 minutes of any Disney movie, somebody's mother's going to get killed.
That's
So,
right. It always happens every time. It's a joke, but then they still do it. I don't know.
yeah, exactly. Okay, we get it. Somebody's going to die. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like,
Deeply traumatic.
yeah, exactly. I
Way
am
more
glad.
than a lot of horror films, actually.
Makes you wonder about Walt's parents. What type of work well, we're going to talk about your film now. I You kind of got was Anastasia, is that the right name? Anastasia Washington?
Anastasia Washington, yeah.
Thank you.
My partner in crime.
I was going to say she's been in more than one of your films.
hmm we met on Deadhead and
Uh-huh.
just it was just one of those things. I mean, I feel like a lot of directors have actors that they just sort of there's just an understanding and
Yeah.
it's not something tangible. It's just it's more than a vibe. It's like a familial sort of feeling. And I at least for me, I don't want to speak for Anastasia, but at least for me, I really feel like she's my sister in horror, and we kind of have like joked that we're the Thelma and Louise of horror. So after Deadhead, we worked together on the new film that's at Portland now,
Gaslighter.
Gaslighter,
Mhm.
and we're now working on a feature together, and so I don't know, we just sort of really bonded and it's a special relationship, yeah,
To
for
your
sure.
to your Sam Raimi, she's your Bruce Campbell. This is great.
Well, yes, my friend Taylor also kind of has become our collective Bruce Campbell. We he's in Deadhead and he gets his head taken off. And I put him through like we did a casting of his head and put his head in cement and the whole
I've,
thing, the
I've done those.
plaster.
Those are amazing when you get your plaster over your face
Um,
when you're first getting molded.
Yeah, I had to be there and hold his hand and everything. I mean, it's a very intense thing to go through, and I didn't quite realize it until I sat there with him, like holding his hand. And
Did they
the
put the
last
straws up his nose or
they did,
oh yeah,
but
yeah.
the last couple of hours, you can't hear or see anything, and it's like being buried alive, kind of. So
And then
we
as
put him through.
it gets heavier and
Mhm,
heavier. Oh, it's a
mhm.
weird feeling.
Yeah, so he's such a good sport, and I put him in a blue shirt and in Deadhead and everything, and I just like Anastasia and I joke around that we're just gonna put him in like smaller and smaller spaces. Every movie we make is gonna be like in a suitcase in the trunk. Yeah,
He'll come
yeah.
out looking like Warwick Davis.
It
Sorry,
can
my
happen.
animals are floating around me, so if you see like tails coming up.
I see nothing, but I celebrate that. I love animals. We have
Oh,
two
they're all over me.
dogs.
I've got my rat terrier, my Motley Pooh, and my little tiger kitty. And my black boy is over there in the corner looking at the rabbits in the backyard. So.
when I married my husband, I had a cat and he had two cats and they were all orange. So there was the ginger cat gang, and then we adopted a German Shepherd puppy.
Aw.
And then we moved to houses, and our German Shepherd passed, and another friend of ours had asked us to take their husky, so we took the husky, and then the husky was depressed because we lost the German Shepherd, so then we had to get another dog. It's like
Gotta get another one. Yeah.
so yeah, we have quite the menagerie
Yeah,
as
this
well.
guy came because my older tiger cat passed, and so we got this is Oliver,
Oh,
all lover.
Oliver, so sweet. Oh, look how he looks at you.
No,
That's so
it's actually
nice.
my husband's love. We call him he's gay for my hubby. So he's always like holding on to him like he'll die if he
Oh,
lets.
I love that so much. I miss our cats were older, and they've passed too. And I keep saying to my husband, we need a cat. I need an animal in my lap.
Especially with all the fires that happened in LA area. I mean, geez, there's so many animals. There's
Only something in LA. Right now it's the military. I mean, it's just a
yeah,
lot
no kidding. You can adopt a soldier. They're all
crazy.
sleeping on the
One
floor. They
day
have no food.
one day I looked out the window and my husky was playing with something and I was like, is that a turtle? And I went out there and sure enough, I don't know, we were not anywhere near water, and it was a terrapin, it was a turtle, it wasn't a tortoise.
Oh, that's
And I
hilarious.
just and so we took it and we took it to there's a rescue in
Of
LA,
course there is. There's a
and
rescue for everything in LA.
yeah, so yeah, I think there's a memo that went out that if you need rescuing, come to our house. But it was insane. A turtle just ran like crazy.
We had rats and chinchillas. I walked into a PetSmart and somebody handed me their pet chinchilla and said, I can't take it anymore. You have it. Like they didn't even know that
What?
I had 12 already at the house. Like, yeah, I'll
Maybe they
take.
did. They actually did. They knew that.
Yeah, it must have
Yeah.
just like somebody went, that's the one.
Yeah, her. It's her.
So tell me how about you've been writing scripts for a while. You've been writing scripts through school?
I've been writing scripts for a while, and it's been a lot of almost near misses with the scripts, and so I just kind of decided, with horror, it's such a low budget kind of thing that you just kind of have to, I feel like you kind of have to do a lot of different things. So I thought I should work on my directing and see if I had any skill, and maybe I could direct all these scripts that I've written. So that's kind of the plan now. I've been sort of focused on directing and sort of honing my craft, and then try to come out as a writer director, and
You can
so
come out as gay, you can come out as straight, or you can come out as a director.
whatever. We're sparkly. We're writers. We're directors. It's all good.
I love it.
So yeah, I've been at this for a while, but it's kind of seems like I'm new, and I kind of am in some ways. But
But
yeah,
then
I just love stories. I tried to talk myself out of it so many times, but it's just like if you have that sort of story in you, it hurts to not get it out there. It makes you depressed and resentful and bitter, and I just didn't want to do that. And again, once I had kids, I just was like, I need to show them that they can pursue their dreams and be successful if they work
how
hard.
many films would I have finished if I had kids? Because I would have been like, yeah, I should have done that.
Yeah, well, they're a little bit older now, 7 and 9, and so they're not so needy. I mean, they still need me, but
Yeah, obviously, yeah. You're
I
not going
I
to be
can
throwing them on
carve
the
out
street.
some space. Like especially they're both in school full time now. Well, not in the summer, but generally, and so I can have space for writing and going to meetings and things like that, directing.
Mhm.
My producer of Deadhead was so sweet. He said, "You just look so happy." And he called my husband and was like, "You have to bring the girls so they can see their mom, directing." And
Yep.
that was really, really so nice. They weren't thrilled that there was a monster in the house, and it was our house. But that was really, really special that they could kind of see how the sausage was made a little bit. So.
Yeah, if you see what's behind the scenes, it's a lot less scary, unless it's sausage.
Right.
Don't touch
Sausage
the hot
is
dogs, Mom.
correct.
So tell me a little bit more about Gaslight. You've got Anastasia because she's kind of in your soul as, your partner in crime.
Yeah, so we talked about what's next, and after Deadhead, and we kind of feel like, I mean, there are a lot of women now in the genre, thankfully, who are making personal films, and that's so great. And I think we had a discussion about how, like, what is it that we want to say? What is it that what kind of stories we want to tell based on our experiences? And I sort of brought up this instance where I was working as an assistant to a talent manager, and I was often alone in the building.
Mhm.
And one such night, I went to leave, and I went downstairs to use the restroom, and there was a man standing, looking out the window down the hall, just talking to himself with like a hoodie on, and it really was terrifying. And he
Yeah,
turned around and looked at me and like started to step toward me, and I didn't even engage or anything. I just ran down the steps. That's like my fight or flight. I just
tapping out.
bye-bye. And so I went to the security guard and I told him like there's a stranger on the fifth floor, and he said it's probably just your imagination. And I was like, why
Like
would
the
you
doctor. Oh, it's
say
probably
that?
just old age. So you don't.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, have you thought about losing weight? I'm
yeah,
here, sir, I'm here for a sinus infection. I
yeah.
don't know what
Exactly.
that has to do.
My
Um,
bunions have to do. Yeah, okay.
no, I don't own a mirror. No, I've never thought about that. Thank
Nobody's ever
you.
mentioned that to me.
Yeah,
I keep telling people I'm just a flotation device. That is my
fine.
that is my job.
I don't have to be your cup of tea, sir, but please fix my
Exactly.
sinus infection. And yes, I know that I am a larger person. Thank you. But
I
anyway,
prefer
back to
curves, thank you, because I forgot, females are shaped like this, not like this.
yeah. Oh my God, you have breasts. Anyway, so
I want to get one free.
Whew. So yeah, so that was really alarming. And it was the trying to convince someone that this is real, as a woman who is talking to a man who's a security guard who's supposed to, that's his job is to keep people safe. We found out later it was actually a police officer who was staking out a motel. It was part of a whole sting thing.
So you couldn't
Um,
even say anything if you wanted to, but he
but
said
that was
nothing
the
to
thing
you.
is he said I wasn't allowed to tell you because I asked like why didn't you tell me, and he said I'm not allowed, I wasn't supposed to say anything. I was like, yeah, but I saw him, so you're just gonna send me away from this moment thinking
You have
that
made this up. You have
I've
made this up.
lost my mind, like I'm hallucinating. I just don't
Exactly.
understand, like as a human being. But I think women are often not believed, and in lots of different scenarios, and it's really frustrating because, Anastasia and I talk, and Anastasia is a woman of color, and so I think this hits even harder for her, is the idea that women and other marginalized groups too, are taught like you can expect to be attacked just because of who you are for no other reason. And I think we live our lives that way on high alert. So when we feel danger, like, hi, take it seriously. We have been trained. We have our keys in our hand. When we're
Yes.
meeting our friends, we are going to park where there's security. We're going to make sure someone walks us to our
There's
car.
lights wherever
Um,
we go.
Right. And so, but a lot of men, even men who love us, don't understand that because they don't live that life. And
Right.
so
Sam
I
Goss was somebody we talked to earlier, and he had said that he felt so bad because he was walking down the street and there was a woman like 40 feet in front of him, and he felt so bad because she kept looking back.
yeah. Well, you see every man as a threat, when you're just a stranger, and so and why is that? There's a good reason, and like
Yeah,
women have to do things like if they're running, they run with their ID in case because joggers are targeted a lot because they're
yeah,
running at odd hours, and they want to be able to have their bodies identified, and we also like have to pay attention to what we wear because we're gonna get blamed if we do
yeah,
get attacked.
yeah.
So it's a whole thing, and we wanted to kind of try to capture that feeling,
Mhm.
in a story.
And
And
it really is well done. Yeah.
thank you, thank you. And I also, but it wasn't quite enough to just do that. Like I wanted to. as sort of dreadful and bleak as it kind of seems, like I put this sort of split screens in there because I wanted to create a sort of alternate choice. And like, if she, I guess I need to set this up for people who
Yeah,
haven't
I
seen
did. I don't.
it.
I don't give spoilers to anybody's film. So if you want to talk about your film, that's cool. I'm not
Okay.
talking about it.
Fair enough, fair enough. This film Gaslighter, it starts with a woman who is alone and she goes to her house at night after work and she realizes that her door is unlocked and she's on the phone with her boyfriend who's out of town, who's been interviewed for a job, and he just wants to talk about that and she's scared and he tells her, don't worry about it. We live in a safe neighborhood. Nothing bad can happen. And you probably just forgot to lock the door.
Nothing ever happens in safe
Yeah.
neighborhood.
And she says the line in there, which is, it always gets kind of a chuckle, is, you sound like the beginning of every Dateline episode.
Yeah.
Um, and so, um, but the movie's called Gaslighter, so you can just assume that like somebody's right and somebody's wrong in this movie. But I wanted women to, the messaging was that I want women to like listen to those, to their own voice, and
Yeah.
um, to not listen to the internalized misogyny or the misogyny, and like get out.
Because you're trained to believe the bullshit. You
Yeah,
know,
you're trained to suppress, you're trained to people please, you're trained
be
to never
polite.
make
Don't
and
yell.
never make someone else, especially a man, uncomfortable.
That's right. That would be
So
sin. Yeah.
yeah, I was on a train by myself leaving Comic-Con to go home, and this man just started talking to me, and I know in his mind he thought it was like a meet cute situation, which I'm married in no way,
Yeah.
but like I the entitlement of, I you owe me a conversation and a
How come
smile.
you didn't smile, honey?
Right. He's like, "Hey, I like your dress." And like just
Yeah, I'm here to
compliments
please
about
you.
compliments that like point to objectification and not seeing me as a human, first of all. But that in that moment, and every woman has experienced it, and you know it's when it's happening, and you know your job is to make that person uncomfortable because you
Yeah.
don't
And
know.
make them not sexualize you. Do not sexualize me.
Well,
I am a me.
or feel like they want to attack you because we've all been in situations where we haven't given the smile and then the guy turns and is like, "Well, fuck you, bitch," blah blah. And it's
Exactly. I
like,
got my tires slashed before because I didn't smile at somebody.
yeah, and so that's bullshit. You know what I mean? And so I think we have, as female filmmakers, or even just marginalized filmic groups of filmmakers,
Yeah.
we should be talking about this. So
Yeah.
that's why we made the movie. And um, men have some thoughts about it. They sometimes get a little bit defensive, but I do think that for the most part, a lot of men want to know more. They want to
Well, you
talk
can't
about
start
it.
the dialogue if they don't have something to get in their craw about. You got to have the dialogue, and
Right.
if you don't like show them what the issue is, they're not going to
Right.
talk about it anyway. So
Right. And so it's been an interesting run with this one because yeah, I think it has sparked some dialogue, and it's been interesting because it's easy to take it as I don't like men, and that's certainly not true.
no, that's you didn't
Um,
get that though.
it's pointing to a system, obviously. We're talking about a patriarchal system that endorses white supremacy and misogyny, and that is true.
Yeah,
And we need to have men on our side to fix it because we can't.
yeah. It's
So,
hard to be the Amazon. We're not all Xena. But all I keep thinking is, man, your daughters are so lucky because
oh,
they have a mom that gets it and knows how to, frame the conversation.
that's so nice. Thank you. I try. I'm sure I'm imperfect, very, very imperfect, but
See, you're already
yeah,
apologizing.
I know.
Take the damn compliment.
You got to be modest. You got to be modest. You can't
Yeah,
be too extra for anyone. Yeah.
right. Don't just no, that's fine.
Yeah. Oh, stop.
Yeah, really, really. What did you say?
Yeah, all of that.
It's fun. Sorry, coffee. I've been up a long time today.
No, you are killing it out there, just literally like killing it. No, I'm just kidding.
You would never believe the things I've done today. Well, I was not in Minnesota. Let's just start there.
Oh God. Wow.
Well, I do have my rebellion badge. Make 1984 fiction again. So we'll
Wonderful.
see. But
I'm actually in a hotel that is close to where some of the protests are going to be happening. So
yes,
after I leave here, before I go to the festival, I might just pop down there in my like blood-soaked dress and
it
like
would be perfect.
be part of it.
About Roe versus Wade. So what do you want to tell the Portland group, Portland film goers and the Portland audiences about your work?
Well, I hope you come and see it. We're in the afternoon block on Sunday. I believe it's 5:05. And it's at the Clinton Theater. I've been so amazed at the films that I've seen so far. And also this is a real treat for a filmmaker who goes to festivals. A lot of the festivals are just the audience is made up of mostly filmmakers.
Uh-huh.
And I was told when I came here that that's not the case with
It's
Portland.
a fan-based audience.
And it was because I was in the audience last night and man, they are rowdy. They love it. So
Good screams when you needed them.
right, I gasped and screams and laughter and because their midnights were last night and I'm really just like a really happy, fun audience
Isn't it
to
great when
work.
you find your tribe?
It
It's,
really, really is. And I really do want more people to understand that horror people are just the kindest, you
yeah.
know.
Well,
They're really so
us atheists
smiling.
do that all the time. We're sitting there going, "We're not immoral, I swear."
Well, like I read the other day, coming from a kind of spiritual family, I guess. I don't go to church anymore, but someone on the internet, well, people on the internet say there's no hate like Christian love or something like that. So
Fact. And on that lovely note, so is that what is your next project then? Do you have it already planned out?
I have a couple of shorts. I've had a couple of people ask me to direct shorts, which is such an honor, and working out the financing for that. But
Oh,
I'm gonna try to get these features made, and try to not say that I want to be exclusive. I don't want to exclude anyone, but I really want to bring in more women and tell stories to be more inclusive to women and people from marginalized groups, and just have them be in the movie and not make a thing of it, not tokenize people, but just have our world sort of reflect what our world looks like.
yeah, yeah. I
And
mean,
so
there's
that's it. Yeah, that's what I want to do.
this
And
whole
Anastasia.
festival. There's been gay, trans, straight,
Hmm.
Italian. There's all of
Well,
us.
and also, and not have it be like that's a niche film. It's
Yeah,
not.
yeah, exactly. Oh no, it's a trans film. No, it's not. It's
Mhm.
a film.
Yeah,
It's a
it's a
horror
film.
movie. Yeah, exactly, exactly. And I think that's another thing I love about horror as a genre is that it's not the label of the person that matters. It's the tale of the tale.
Well, right, and like I think one thing that people also should know about horror audiences is like if as long as you deliver the goods, it doesn't matter who the cast is. Like we're down for all of it. Just make sure that you bring the blood or whatever. Yeah,
Yeah,
just
exactly.
make it special, like make it fun for them to watch
Yeah.
and we'll take in everything multiple times.
Exactly. And we'll try to find something where things didn't exist just to make sure it's there, or not there. It's so fun. I
That's right.
am so glad I got to chat with you
Me
today.
too, me
You are
too.
awesome, Blossom. And when you get your next project, please do contact me so we can put you on the show again.
Would
I'm
love
gonna
to.
let me signal out for the Portland audience. This has been antisocial horror-ish show with Gina Hendry and the beautiful Portland horror film.
Yeah.
Festival. Let me go ahead and hit the record off.